Morning, YouTube. Want to go into a little bit of stuff. It's Tuesday, 7:55 a.m. Haven't got a real good sweat on yet, so it's nice. Okay, guys, they're putting Floyd in the ground today. So, what's next? Well, what's next is going to be a lot. We got the trial. I'm sure they're going to expedite that son of a bitch. And, everybody else with a murder charge, 2-3 years before they get, their trial and stuff. They get a preliminary, basically, where they get to, say, hey, we're going to charge you with this kind of count. Then they put you in jail for about 2 years before they finally, give you your trial. Such is the court system. But in this situation, the DNC and the Democratic-led cities and DAs and everybody else like that, they're going to expedite this bad boy. He will go on trial probably September. You say, Jay, why is it going to happen in September? Well, because September is close enough that the Americans with their superpower of ADD might still be rioting by November. Because they're going to expedite this. They're going to go with a lesser charge of some kind. And the BLM movement is not going to be happy with it. Because anything short of death penalty, they're not going to be happy with anyway. But a lesser charge of some kind is going to go through. The other three guys probably going to get some pissant little charge. Probably may go free in 10 years, some 10-year thing, blah, 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 whatever. So, that's going to happen. It's going to be just like Rodney King. He got his guys got a lesser charge that BLM did not believe in, and they rioted. Well, we see what's going on, guys. The very death, we got a nationwide, riots and stuff, thanks to Antifa. We got cities looking to disband their police. Well, guys, police departments and the protection of the citizenship is actually in every city in every state's charter. Provide for the common defense. Keep the populace safe. I mean, that's been a little bit hijacked now. The police department, we all know, is a great moneymaker and everything else like that. The whole penal code and justice and court system. I mean, they got a whole court system, the traffic court system. It's nothing but, a big moneymaker. So it's not really, protect and serve kind of thing anymore. It adds to the city's budget. But, yeah. if Minneapolis, which they've, according to what I'm hearing, they have a supermajority in their legislation to defund and disband their popo. Well, if that happens, Minneapolis has to actually rewrite their freaking whole charter. So that is probably not going to happen. I don't think they'll have enough to do that. But cutting the funding, it's a possibility. So what's going to happen is, other than the tried and trues who's got, like 5 years before retirement or something like that, or blah, 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 they'll stay around just to get their pensions, or they'll try to retire early. But a lot of guys are going to just leave. I mean, they maybe have, 3, 4, 5 years on the force. They don't see, money in it anymore. No attorneys backing them. They'll just leave, just like they did in Portland. Portland's running on a skeleton police force, thanks to Antifa. And none of the freaking cities around Portland will even help Portland. So, I don't know why that city ain't burned to the ground yet, but I don't know. So, what is going to happen with this? What are they wanting to do? They're wanting to defund the police. They're wanting to... somebody was saying, I heard, that they're wanting to push for citizen patrols and stuff like that, which would require them to expand the Second Amendment, which, I mean, they're already calling for the removal of the Second Amendment. Why are they going to make a move in a direction that would expand the Second Amendment? That kind of makes me scratch my head. I think that's a no-go on that, Ghost Rider. But what's possibly going to happen is martial law, keep it a peace. You got to have military in there. Somebody's got to keep and establish law and order. If it's not the city's police force, the county's police force, or the state's police force, it's got to be somebody. Trump says, according to the Constitution, if the cities fail to provide for its population's safety, then the federal government has to jump in on this, or can jump in on this. Well, what's the police force of the government, of the federal government? That's the military. How does the military do it? They're not going to take the city's penal code. No, they're going to implement martial law, which is going to give them absolute control. What's going to happen? The cities are going to run out of money because the police force are a money-making ticket. So, guys, these cities, they're telling you they're going to disband, the police force. But why would you get rid of that, that sugar daddy right there? I mean, they can't get rid of that. It's not going to happen. It just ain't. And the federal government, guess what they're going to do? If they gotta police the cities, they're going to charge money back to the cities for the use of the military. Yeah, somebody got to pay them soldiers to eat and such. But guys, BLM it's interesting. Over the weekend, I got chatter that there was a BLM march or demonstration about 5 minutes from my house. So I grabbed the wife, grabbed my gun, grabbed her gun, threw it in her purse, threw some extra mags in her purse, and we went to the grocery store, which was 3 blocks from where this demonstration was happening. And it was about 20 privileged white kids, about 3 boys, and the rest were all girls, out there standing in the hot Texas Houston sun with signs. Not even all of them. There was about 4 signs being, held up. The rest were standing by their vehicles. And, I ain't saying I live in a rich neighborhood or anything by far, but, we're a predominantly white, upper middle class kind of neck of the woods. So you're looking at, what were the cars they were leaning up against, Jay? Well, they were trucks. There was a couple of trucks. There was a Jeep. And there was a Lexus and there was a Toyota. So they weren't old. It wasn't like it was, of course, Jeeps, it's kind of hard to tell the age of a Jeep. But it was not a rock crawler decked out and everything else like that, but it was not, an antique Jeep. Let's just say that. It had some goodies on it. Let's just say that. Shiny rims, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. That was what we saw. So we saw privileged white kids out there woken to BLM in my neck of the woods. I mean, it wasn't a big group, and I reported through the chatter line that this was a green situation. They were just out there demonstrating and doing their First Amendment right. So it was okay. No chance for it to escalate or anything else like that. But the interesting thing about this movement, guys, is if you listen to the news, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, black, 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 black. Kids want to know, or young people want to know, or old people want to know, or everybody wants to know, why is their city burning? Well, the news is telling you, black, 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 Black Lives Matter. Black people are doing this. At least according to the news they are. I'm not seeing a lot of anybody blaming Antifa. And if they are, what the fuck are they doing calling Antifa a white supremacist group? And how would or why would BLM allow themselves to be hijacked by a white supremacist group? It's not white supremacy, guys. It's changing the narrative. Change the narrative, guys. I'm always going to talk about change the narrative. If one term doesn't give you the response that you need, go through your thesaurus and find another word that means the same thing, but it gets a better response. Well, can't call Antifa, black supremacists or anything else like that, because believe it or not, Antifa is a white majority kind of a group. But they are not white supremacists. And they do not claim to be white supremacists. The news is calling them that. I have no idea why they're allowing the news to do it, other than it just fits the narrative. But as woke as Antifa is, I don't think they would really like being called it. But that's neither here nor there. So, what is happening? Well, we're getting the Great Divide again, and that's the media's great thing, is they're dividing the country. Identity politics, guys. Whites against blacks, blacks against whites, Mexicans against whites, Asians against whites. Everybody's against the whites. Whites are against everybody. White men are against women. Doesn't matter your color. We're against women. The other genders, oh yeah, we're against that too. If you're something else, we're against that. Which, just an interesting fact I heard yesterday is that in the LGBT community, the black culture is the most unaccepting of LGBTQ apostrophe S of all the races out there. And yet they hijack each other's marches and stuff like that. Which is interesting. And why is that, Jay? Why is the black culture that despondent to LGBTQ apostrophe S? Is that the black community is very, very religious. Which is interesting, considering the nuclear family, which is in the Bible and very, very important in the Christian faith. If you read the Bible, the nuclear family is all but extinct in a large swath of the black culture. And such like that. But unfortunately, in the white culture, Christianity and other such religions, it's unfortunately a lot of the white culture is moving away from religion. And of course, then you have the Asians, which Asians are interesting. They are either super religious with Buddhism or whatever religion they want to do, or they're absolutely no religion whatsoever. They have a little bit of the paganism with the little cat statues and stuff like that. Blah, 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 blah. More for good luck charms than anything. And then you have, of course, the Latinos, which they are crazy religious. That entire culture is pretty darn religious. But they are second to the black culture in terms of denouncing LGBTQ apostrophe S. But I digress. I'm approaching my 20 minute mark here. Guys, it's going to get worse before it gets better. We're going to have a second wave of COVID coming. We're going to have a second wave of riots coming. All this shit is here to just distract and push an agenda. They're wanting us distracted. They're wanting us disarmed. They're wanting us destabilized. And they want us at each other's throats. They don't want us unified. I posted this morning Hopper from The Bug's Life. The ants, one little ant is not going to do a lot of damage. But 500 ants can make a difference. And they will topple and destroy the powers that be, the controlling force. We're gonna see, guys. The Trump is still draining the swamp. Clinton's supposed to be going to trial in September. Got a lot of stuff happening. Flynn's getting ready to come out of jail. Got a lot of indictments coming down the tube. A lot of Obamagate stuff's fixing to happen. A bunch of his lackeys are being subpoenaed and indicted. Unfortunately, we're going to find that Obama did a lot of bad stuff. But I think Obama was the sloppier of the rest of the presidents that was doing this. A lot of people like George W. Bush. George W. Bush was a globalist, guys. He was pushing for globalization. UN. He liked that kind of shit. Clinton, he was very sloppy. His wife, though, she was ninja style, and as long as, you were looking at the left hand, you didn't know what the right hand was doing. She was very ninja style, but then she got sloppy when she got in under Obama. So, guys, she was not supposed to lose. Everything about the 2016 election was Clinton was supposed to win. We stopped that. We can stop it again in 2020 in November. We need to. We all need to vote. If you don't like Trump, he's not a perfect politician, but he's the politician we need right now. I don't like him because I don't like the whole bump stock ban. But 80% of everything else that he does, I'm gonna say, hey, he's doing good. Crenshaw, dude, he's red flags, and he likes that shit. He ain't denouncing it. He ain't stepping back from it and rethinking it. Bowie tells me, hey, if you like 80% of what he's doing, then at least that's 80%. That's something you can get behind. But guys, I can't get red flag out of my head. That's like crazy bad shit. Can't do that. But I'll vote for him because I take 80% of what he does, and I like it. Alright, guys. My phone's saying video size is being reached. Y'all stay frosty. Keep your head on a swivel. I'm out.